Hi guys, thank you for watching, thank you for tuning in. And yeah, it's true, I have sold a Rolex for an Amiga. Now on paper that probably sounds like a downgrade, but in reality I had the Rolex Oyster Perpetual 39, the grape dial. Don't get me wrong, I've really enjoyed wearing that watch. Every time I looked at it, it felt nice. It was a Rolex ultimately, but it was the ugly duckling of the lineup. And in all truthfulness, not many people actually enjoyed that watch. It was a very unpopular watch. It hasn't quite turned its way and peaked over to being so unpopular it's popular. It's just an unpopular watch. I didn't have a problem with it for the last couple of years. I have tried to sell it a couple of times. Nobody bit, nobody wanted to buy it. I ended up flogging it to a dealer, the person that I bought it off eventually. And yeah, in its place, I bought a fantastic Amiga. Rolex to Amiga. Is it a downgrade? Well, the one that I've bought is better looking, better finishing, better movement. It feels and looks a lot better. It looks a lot classier. So yeah, I've gone from a purple dial to a green dial, which is still a little bit funky, but I don't think it's quite as funky as a purple dial. So yeah, the Aquaterra has been around since the early 90s, I think. It's had a few different variations, and they've got a brand new variation now in the lacquered dial 41 black. Oh la la, that is a sexy looking watch, but unfortunately it's got a pretty hefty price tag with it as well. This Aquaterra Green that I've picked up, it's also a 41mm, but it's the last generation, and it had the price to match. A really, really, really attractive price. It's used, it's secondhand, but it came to me looking absolutely pristine. So far, so good. It's been accurate. It looks fantastic. I'm not going to sit here and say, well, I have previously had four Datejust, Rolex Datejusts. I'm not going to sit here and compare them to them. Possibly do that in a later video for a bit more content. But I think the Aquaterra, it deserves its own video. It deserves its own respect. It's a standalone watch, and it could be a one-watch collection for most people out there. It does everything that it should do, really. Green dials are becoming more and more popular. I've got to be honest, I think this is the first green dial I've ever bought. I was a little bit dubious, in all honesty, and if truth be told, as I've said in a previous video, I actually wanted the black Aquaterra. That is the one I really wanted because I've got a black official Amiga NATO upstairs, which is I think about £150, and I've got an official leather strap from Amiga. Again, that's in grey, so they both would have gone fantastic with a black dial Aquaterra. But unfortunately, I did buy one previously from Goldsmiths in the used section. It was faulty. I had to send it back, and then unfortunately I couldn't find another black dial wherever I looked. And I did want an Aquaterra, in all honesty. I bought my wife a ladies Aquaterra 26mm, I think it is, with diamonds a few years ago. And every time I see it on her wrist for the last 3 or 4 years, I've just gone, oh, wow, that looks great. I want a version of that. So it's been in my mind for a few years, and God, hers is absolutely battered. She truly wears a watch as you should wear it. She picks it up, she throws it down, she doesn't care. That's, in my head, that's exactly what you should do with all watches. But no, I baby mine, I stroke mine, I put it in a little pouch when I go to bed so it doesn't get scratched. And I think I'll continue to do that for a very long time. But it's nice that we've kind of got his and hers watches now. I spoke in a previous video about my Tudor FXD and how it makes me warm and fuzzy inside and gives me that cozy feeling when I look down at it. And I think that Aquaterra green dial, it's definitely got them vibes. It does a lot of sexy things, in my opinion. It's gorgeous to look at. It's an Amiga. You know, there's not many things that I can say negative about this watch. There is a couple of things, as always. There isn't any perfect watch, and I'll give you those down points later on in the video. And what I've realised while making this video is I'm trying to get a list of pros and cons together, but because of the way the nature of this watch is, and probably the nature of all watches, one man's pros can be another man's cons. So for example, this bracelet has polished centre links, and for me, on the Aquaterra, that is a must, and I think it looks fantastic, especially when you're looking in your mirror and you see in a mirror your watch as other people would see it, and it just reflects light, and it looks really, really classy, and I love that. But to another person, they're thinking finger marks, easily scratched, grubs up really quickly and looks tatty if you don't look after it. And I get that. So is it a pro? Is it a con? For me, it's a pro. For other people, it might not be. So another one that could be a pro, could be a con. When I first found out about micro adjustment and the fact that it was invented and available on watches, I nearly wet myself. I thought it was the coolest invention of all time. And I looked down my nose at any watch that didn't have micro adjustment for a long, long time. And when I did get a watch with a butterfly clasp, I didn't understand them. I didn't get them. I didn't find them attractive. I have changed my mind massively on that now. My need for micro adjustment has definitely subsided. I don't even consider micro adjustment anymore because I've worn a few watches over the last couple of years with zero micro adjustment, and I've just learned to live with them and be comfy. And I think a big part of that, in all honesty, is that I used to wear my watch right up here above the knuckle and I could never get a good fit. And now I've relaxed and I just wear it a little bit lower. It just seems to be a little bit easier to wear. So maybe that's my lack of knowledge because I've got a lot of that when it comes to not watches, in all honesty. But yeah, micro adjustment is not a big thing. But this watch has got a butterfly clasp. Again, you might love it, you might hate it. I think the Aquaterra, its case design and its lug design, they stand out. They're almost an Omega trait, and it's semi-polished, semi-brushed. So I think the lugs are a really intelligent design because the way they make the watch even thinner that way because the way they reflect the light. So it's a really good size, really good effect. It just looks really classy. So nobody can complain about the thickness of this watch. It looks fantastic on the wrist. It's thick enough to give it a certain amount of presence and look the part and be well balanced, but it's not too thick that it's top heavy. So the thickness is spot on in my eyes. Would I want it a little bit smaller? I did initially when I first got the watch, but having worn it for a few weeks now, I think, no, it's absolutely perfect. One thing that I will say that for me is a negative, well, is it yes, it's a negative, is the crown, or the way you deal with the crown. I haven't particularly got fat, stubby fingers, but I do find it quite difficult unwinding the crown and then you're doing the movement. The movement's quite easy to move, but yeah, it is a little bit fiddly, and because the crown is so small, that's probably a positive because daily wear, it's going to be okay. But if you've got even the smidgiest of greasy or sweaty hands, you're going to find it a little bit difficult. But if you're wearing a watch every day, you're putting it in a watch winder, it's a chronometer. At best, you might be doing that once a month, if that. So it's not really a big deal. But yeah, the crown, the action could be a little bit easier to use for me. The dial. All Aquaterra dials are exactly the same, of this version anyway, and they look fantastic. They've got the lines going across them to symbolise a teak bow. I think it is a little bit bullshitty, in all honesty, innit? But I do like the lines. It gives a bit of character to the dial. Is it better than the new lacquered dial? Oh, I don't know. I'd have to look closely at the new ones, but that lacquered finish is just good. I think it's going to make it look $1,000,000. The markers are really sexy, and the way they catch the light and play with the light, I think it's a really clever thing from Omega. If I'm being completely honest, I think the legibility lets the watch down a little bit, but like with the FXD, the legibility is out of this world. I don't think anybody actually buys an Aquaterra for its legibility. They buy it for that bit of jazziness, the reflection of the light, the polished center links. So yeah, the legibility is probably one of the worst features of this watch. Don't get me wrong, I'm not there squinting for 20 seconds before I can tell the time. It's just not instantly recognisable like it is on some other watches. One of the really clever things, I think it must be on purpose basically, what Omega have done is created a green dial, but it's so dark a green that in a lot of lights it actually looks black. So it's not so in your face that you can't wear it all the time. I have had bright coloured dials in the past, and in my head, they clash with the clothes that I'm wearing, and I don't want to wear it if I'm wearing a certain outfit, which is crazy. And you could argue that I might feel that with a green dialed watch as well, but so far, it's so muted that you have to be in the right light to actually tell it's a green watch. Even in daylight, sometimes it doesn't automatically hit you as a green watch. So it's nice. It's almost a little secret that I have, because most people looking from a distance or 6 feet or more, they probably wouldn't even know they won't even give it a second look to say it's a green watch. They'll just think it's a black watch. I think that's a positive. It's nice to have a bit of green without it being too much in your face. The movement has got a display case back, and a display case back is just one of those things, even if it's on a £200 watch, I think it makes the watch a little bit classier and a little bit more high-end. And this Omega certainly doesn't disappoint. It's the movement 8900. That movement is in other Omega watches. It was in my Globe Master, I seem to remember, and it's a master chronometer. And does it get much better? I don't know if you've seen the advert. I mean, the advert featuring my watch, the green dial, is about 3 years old, And it's amazing. It really is. Don't get me wrong, I didn't get a box of tissues out and start weeping, but find it on YouTube, watch it. It's got beautiful, beautiful music, and it goes through all the different things that Amiga are associated with, whether it be Olympics, space, James Bond. And it just ties in brilliantly, does the advert, because it's all made out of little pieces. And then at the end, it says master chronometer, the most perfect watch movement in the world, which is a pretty big statement for them to say, but who can argue with that? Go watch the advert, honestly, it's brilliant. The music's fantastic, it's beautiful. And even then, when I saw the advert, I'm like, oh, I do like that watch. And now I am 3 years later buying it. Yes. As I've previously mentioned, one of the reasons I wanted the Aquaterra black dial is because of the versatility, and I had the official Amiga leather and NATO. So the first thing I did is like panic about, is a green dial going to be versatile? And it is, it definitely is. And I'll show you a few options here. And you just got to pick a little bit more carefully the strap colours and choices, because I don't think it'll go with every colour, obviously. I'm not going to be putting blue or red on this with a green dial. So it limits my options. But wow, it does look good. This is a deluxe green leather. Now it's a rich quality leather strap. I think it looks absolutely fantastic. So that in some situations is going to be brilliant. My friend Alex over at Zealand has sent me the green rubber strap. This fits like a dream, and it's the comfiest strap I've ever worn. I love these. And again, it's going to be just right for these sporty occasions. I've got a brown leather strap here from Colareb. That looks fantastic. I think it really works with brown, to be honest. And then unfortunately for me, the black official Amiga NATO, £150, looks like dog shit. I just don't like it with the white stripe down the middle, unfortunately, so it's not for me. And then the grey leather Amiga looks a little bit better. I think I could get away with that because of the darker dial, so that could be an option later down the line. So when can I wear this watch? It's very flashy, but as I've just shown you, you can dumb it down with different colour straps, and you can have sporty occasions, dressy occasions, or you can wear it on the bracelet all day, every day, like my wife, and just wreck the shit out of the watch. I'd love to be able to do that, but I think if I'm, I don't know, going for a pint with the lads or with my dad down the pub, put it on the rubber strap. Got a business meeting, put it on the leather strap. Going on holiday to the beach, throw it on the NATO. You can mix it up, and this is a true one-watch collection. You could really have just this watch, change it up with the versatility, and you could wear it all day, every day in different situations. So yeah, you can wear it all the time, basically. Don't get me wrong, I won't. I'm going to swap it out probably every 12 hours like I have done for the last 7 years. So as I've said, I have had 4 Rolex Datejusts, and this is my first Amiga Aquaterra. Maybe I should have gone down this route first. It's super comfy, super good looking. You can wear it and it can't get uncomfortable. It doesn't jangle around too much. I have found the perfect fit. There is half links, which is really important. And yeah, it's versatile. You don't see many people taking a Rolex Datejust off the bracelet. It's just unheard of. But it's more acceptable with Amiga because they sell official leather straps. They sell the Aquaterra on leather and rubber. So it's acceptable to swap it over, and it works really well. So as I've said, I've tried to get a pros and a cons list for this watch, but it's a little bit difficult because a lot of the pros will be cons for some people and some of the cons will be pros for others. So it's a vice versa situation. So I'll leave you with 2 good, 2 bad for this watch. And the 2 bad is the winding action. It is a little bit more tricky than it needs to be. It's not a deal breaker, so what? You might have to do it once a month, if that. And the final one on this watch is the legibility. It's not as good as it could be. I won't say it's bad. I won't say, oh my God, I can't tell the time, I can never see it. But yeah, it just takes maybe a fraction of a second more than it does my other watches. But again, you don't buy a watch like this for legibility, do you? And the 2 good are, well, it's just the Amiga Aquaterra. Its looks, its vibe, its feeling. It's just classy. It looks the business. It's an Amiga, and I love the way it looks and fits. And secondly, yeah, it's that versatility. Throw it on a strap, throw it on a NATO, throw it on a rubber strap. It's just going to work. So yeah, a white dial or a black dial, definitely the most versatile. But this green, as I've shown, it can still be versatile. I'll just have to start wearing more green clothes now. Right guys, thank you for watching. Hope you had a good time. I'll see you in the next one.